Are you someone who tends to celebrate as often as you can, or always notice how things can improve and be focused on that? Both are good as long as we're doing both. Today, I want us to talk about what if you gave yourself credit instead of just criticism. You don't build a strong habit through shame. You build it through belief. So today, I want to encourage you to keep believing in yourself, to stay the course, and although there is always room for improvement, to remember to celebrate and give yourself credit for everything you are accomplishing and working towards daily. So let's dive in. Do you ever wish you had more time just to breathe, think, or even catch up? Does your to-do list feel like it's never ending, no matter how hard you try? Have you ever looked around and thought, why does everyone else seem to have it all together and I'm barely holding on? If so, you're in the right place. Welcome to A Fresh Start. I'm Shannon Marquita, your habit and mindset coach, here to help you build healthier habits, feel more like yourself again, and stop burning out in the name of productivity. Trust me, I've lived the pressure of trying to prove myself, earn my worth, and juggle all the things. I know what it's like to look successful on paper, but still feel completely drained inside. That's why this podcast isn't just about information, it's about transformation. So stop scrolling, stop comparing, and stop trying to buy your way to balance. This is your space to slow down, reset, and focus on the one thing that will truly give you change, you. So let's get into today's episode. If you were here for Tuesday's episode, or even if you weren't, after today's episode, I want to encourage you to go back and give it a listen. We talked about consistency without shame and why it's important to have values-based consistency versus shame-based consistency. And today, we are going to go deeper with that topic and why I want you to be focused on giving yourself credit instead of criticism. Remember, you don't build a strong habit through shame. You build it through belief. Belief comes from showing up consistently, which comes from self-discipline, which is a muscle that we are constantly working to strengthen. But it also comes from encouraging ourselves with belief and reminding ourselves of our values and why this is important. And every time we show up, I'm not saying we show up perfectly. Some days are just a struggle. But every time you keep your word, every time you honor your values and priorities, give yourself credit. That's a win. If you critique, oh, I showed up, but I'm tired. Oh, I didn't do the full time frame that I had promised to. Or, oh, I did less than before, whether it be weights or amount of pages listened to or duration of the audiobook, whatever it is, whatever your goal is, there's always room for improvement, I promise. And not every day is going to be our best performance-wise. But celebrate that you showed up. Celebrate that you stayed the course. Celebrate that you kept your word and you are becoming increasingly honorable to yourself, which helps you show up in all areas of your life better, more confidently, secure, where you're not questioning, what are people thinking about me? Why are they looking at me that way? Why didn't I get invited? It's none of your business. Who knows what other people are going through? Who knows what that situation fully entailed? It might have been a complete blessing that you were not a part of it. Stop giving all your time and energy to all those worrisome questions that then spiral into self-critique and can become sabotaging. And now our thoughts are not the positive, encouraging, strengthening, confident ones we've been working on. They begin to go in the wrong direction. So give yourself credit and celebrate every time you show up and you choose to continue to become the person that you want to be and that you know you need to be for this next season of your life, whether it be the goals or whatever it is you're working towards, and leave the critique behind. Leave the judgment behind. Leave the shame behind. Stop picking it up. Stop spending any time there with it because we have no energy for it. All we have is the energy and focus for our positive thoughts and for who we are becoming and the life that we are building. Every time we spend time with the negativity and the shame and the disappointment and the critiques, we unfortunately are feeding the negativity in our brain, and those voices and sayings and just dialogue becomes louder and louder, and it begins to override all the hard work we have done to continue to become the person that we want to be and we know we're meant to be. So you need to decide, what voice am I going to give the microphone to? What voice am I going to strengthen and that I want to hear more? Because I know it's the one that is celebrating you and that is encouraging you, not the one who is critiquing and judging you. So practice reframes. What are some things that you say often to yourself? How can you reframe it to make sure that you are recognizing your efforts? Maybe today you were tired and you got a late start, or you didn't get to work on your habit or goal as long as you would have liked. Do you say things like, "Oh, gosh, what was the point?" Or "Why can't you keep your word?" Or "This was a failure. I told you you couldn't do this." Or do you practice things like, "I'm really glad that I showed up. I feel great that I could give 30 minutes. Would I have loved to be able to dedicate an hour or more? Yes, but the 30 minutes are still worth celebrating and count because they're better than the 0, right?" Sometimes you might have to skip that day of whatever your goal is that you're working on, and that's okay. Remember, you can miss one day, but don't miss 2. So how can you continue to practice reframing the things that you used to say to yourself, from the critiques to giving yourself credit for how you're showing up, that you're showing up, and that you are giving effort and energy and focus to your values and your priorities and your goals? Giving yourself credit also continues to feed into your consistency. Every time we give ourselves credit, it makes us want to show up better and more because we believe in ourselves and we like how it feels when we feel confident, when we feel secure and able and just, I am somebody who can do this. I'm not questioning my ability anymore. I'm not worried about what others think all the time. Sometimes we still are because we are human and we might have a low energy day or a low confidence day, but we have the tools and confidence in place to regroup and to lean on people for support that are in our circle of trust if needed. But the more that you celebrate yourself and you acknowledge all that you have achieved and how far you've come, it helps encourage you to keep going because you realize, I know I have not been perfect. I know I had some slip-ups along the way, but I still see the progress. And that encourages me to keep going because I kept celebrating, not critiquing. I kept making myself feel able and capable rather than unworthy and a failure. What you give energy towards and focus on expands. So give yourself credit, focus, and notice and celebrate the wins. I want to give you a few things to think about as we wrap up today's episode, because I know that this is a very important topic that we all struggle with, some more than others, whether more frequently or whatever the case may be. And so these are some questions that I want you to ask yourself in those moments so that however the week is going, however the day is going, even this season, you're pausing to acknowledge all that is going right and well and making sure that you are focused on the right things. So the first one says, where are you quick to criticize but slow to celebrate? And by bringing this to the forefront, then when those moments happen, we are now choosing to celebrate versus critique. So ask yourself truly, where are you quick to criticize and slow to celebrate so that we can pivot and begin to do it the other way? What's one thing you did well this week, big or small? I want you to ask yourself that multiple times. I'm asking you today because today is Friday and the work week is over, and sometimes it's hard along the way depending how schedules go. No matter how well you tried to plan, things can sometimes go awry or out of our control, and we forget to pause and reflect and to celebrate. So what is one thing you did well this week, big or small? Now ask yourself this daily at the end of the day. You could even ask in the beginning of the day, in the morning, as you're reflecting on the previous day. What did I do well yesterday? Because today I want to do even better. I want to at least do that and better. And I also want to remind myself that I'm doing a great job. I'm going to have slip-ups. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm not perfect, but I'm doing well. I'm giving my best. I'm trying. I'm showing up, and I'm celebrating my continued effort. And that's what I want you to do also. I want to leave you with this reminder as we wrap up today's episode. You're already doing more than you give yourself credit for. We are our harshest judge. We tend to critique ourselves harsher than others, And so just as we are practicing giving ourselves credit instead of criticism, remember that you are already doing really well. Great work. We are just working on bringing it to the forefront and celebrating it over criticism. I hope you're having a great week. I'll talk to you soon. I'm so glad you're here today. This conversation matters, and I know it's going to make a difference in how you move forward. If you'll do me a favor and take a minute to share this episode with a friend and leave a review, your words help others find their way too. For more resources, next steps, and to work together, you can head to my website, shannonmarquita.com. That's MARQUETA. Everything you need is waiting for you there. And if you're looking for honest conversation and extra encouragement with people doing the same kind of work, come join my free Facebook community. The link is in the show notes. Until next time, trust your pace, protect your peace, and remember, you are not behind. Take what you need from these episodes and know that a fresh start is always possible for you. I'm so proud of you. I'm thankful for you, and I look forward to talking with you again soon.